Meetups are nothing new. It's basically an event that's organised online where people who share a hobby can meet face to face and celebrate their joy of shoe collecting or buttons or basket weaving or whatever it is.
Whatever piques your interest.
Indeed.
And since Curicon and King's Comics had their first ever meetup, we thought it was a good idea to get along and ask all these people who are into comics, cartoons and collectibles what their highlight was for 2012. It's an exciting night tonight. You're having a bit of a Curicon catch-up. What was the motivation for all this?
Well, we just wanted to bring the Curicon community because everybody's so hardcore and everybody's engaged and they're getting on really, really well on Curicon, and we just wanted to bring the Curicon community offline so that they just kind of could hang out with one another, have some pizza, chill out, meet new friends. I mean, some people are friends online, other people may not necessarily know each other from Curicon just yet, but we just kind of felt we wanted to do it obviously within the Sydney area first because Sydney is our home.
Sure.
And we just really, really felt very strongly that this Curicon is a community and it's about fans and it's about collectors, and why would you not bring it offline as well as having it online?
2012, what was the high point for you in terms of comics, cartoons, collectibles? What was the high point? I mean, what was that for yourself?
For me, I'm obviously biased. I would have to say getting to New York Comic Con.
Sure.
In terms of reading comics, one of the best comics actually that I did read this year was, for me, absolutely 100% Winter City. It came out of left field. I totally didn't see it coming. It was something that I just picked up because I really liked the cover and I was just totally blown away by it. So from my point of view, I have to say Winter City 100% indie comic of the year.
I'm really happy to see that there's someone out there that really wants to bring the community element of fandom and collecting back together. And it's something that sort of got lost in the late 90s and the 2000s. And now it's really good to see that they're using the internet to really get people to connect again. It's exciting, actually. There has been a lot of good stuff coming out this year, but for me, my favourite book would have to be Saga, Brian K. Vaughan. He really came out of the blocks with something really fresh and new. Science fiction mixed with fantasy, it's epic, and you don't know where it's going to go, and I just love it. I mean, I think he's one of the best writers out there at the moment.
I've got to assume yours is probably gaming related.
Yes, it would be gaming related.
Yeah. So what was it for you? What was the big thrill this year?
I would have to say that the biggest thrill for me this year would be Journey, which was a PlayStation downloadable title. Came out earlier this year, I think around March. And I really like that company. It's made by a company called That Game Company, and they're independent, and they've got a philosophy behind them which is about taking games to an emotional level. All their games you have an emotional connection with them. And that particular game, when you started it, it was just awe-inspiring. And it has some really different dynamics in it. There's no user interface, for example, so it's extremely clean and simple. You're just this little lonely figure in this landscape, and you kind of do this wonderful sort of snowboarding, surfing kind of thing through the game. It's actually quite short, which I quite like because I don't get a lot of time and I can't play the 100-hour-long games. And then it had this wonderful dynamic in it where you feel very alone, and you kind of, if you know the language of games, you know what you've got to do. You've got to reach this sort of glowing peak in the distance, but then you meet someone else, and at first you think it's just another character, an AI, artificial intelligence character. But then you realise it's behaving erratically, and you think it's a real person. But the only way you can communicate with them is you press a button, and you just get this little bing, a little symbol. So then you develop your own language. So I think it's actually a work of genius, and it really had a very profound effect on me, and I really had an emotional connection to it. And I thought that has actually taken gaming to the next level because it's a game about love.
It's an expensive sounding cliche. The new Batman has just been fantastic. Court of Owls, I just loved it. Really, really loved it. It was great. Really enjoyed the new Batman movie, of course, as well. Dark Knight Rises and the Avengers, top stuff. Prometheus was probably my biggest disappointment of the year. If you wanted to have that one in there, they're probably my three most memorable events of the year.
What was the highlight for yourself?
Avengers, obviously. Massive Joss nerd. So be it. And I love him. And the movie was fantastic.
It's been a great year for Joss, really, hasn't it?
Yes, and then of course we've got the next Avengers in 2015. We've got S.H.I.E.L.D. coming out this year. Hopefully it goes well in pilot season, which is the start of next year, and we'll go from there, hopefully.
So I think that raises quite an interesting point.
Yeah.
You know, highlights of 2012. It's been such a big
Huge
year
year.
with
Yep.
the Marvel Nows and the New 52s, not to mention everything else we've
All
looked
the
at.
movies that have come out.
So I had to ask myself the question. I
Yep.
think it does have to be one in the New 52. It's Snyder's Batman. I'm
Ooh.
loving what he's doing with Batman.
Yep.
It's just reinvigorated my love for the title. He's doing so much cool stuff with Court of Owls and everything like that. So
Bingo. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Snyder's
been awesome.
Batman for me. So how about you, Sonia? 2012 highlight.
I know, well, like you said, it has been such a massive year,
has.
and we've read so many great titles and series and seen so many great movies and
Yeah.
series. But I think for me, I couldn't choose a single title or run like you have. For
Yeah.
me, I think my biggest highlight was meeting Humanoids Publishing.
Ah.
I hadn't really had any contact with them before, and the books that we've read, Pandemonium, Whispers in the Wall, Metal, which
Yeah.
became one of my favourites. I've read it so many times since then. I just feel really happy that I found this whole new world that I can kind of delve into. It's
nice,
great.
isn't it?
It's really cool.
Here's all this
I
stuff
know,
can
it's
look
great.
at now. Yeah.
But we should really ask Ray as
You're
well.
right,
I need to know
yes.
what he
We
wants. Okay.
Ray, we need you for a segment.
Ray.
Is he? Where is
I
he?
really think it shouldn't be El Demo Koi Gashitai or Chew 2. That was the sleeper hit of the year for me. So yeah.
He doesn't get any less weird.
No, he doesn't. Okay, guys, well, that's our big highlights of the year, but we want to know what you think were. Was it
Yes.
a movie? Was it a comic? Was it a series? Or was it
Yeah.
a figurine?
Yeah.
A statue? Let us know on Facebook, let us know on Twitter, because we want to know what Kapowians think was awesome this
Yes,
year.
we do.